Alright guys, welcome to another episode of Mattie and Liamo. Today we're talking about the current riots, not riots actually, the opposite of riots, current peaceful protests going on in Hong Kong. As a resident I'm quite interested, and Liam is someone who doesn't really know anything about the situation.
Yeah, educate away. I don't know anything about it. I couldn't care less about it. Uh,
Brutal honestly, I couldn't care less.
yeah, I don't know anything about it. But from what I can tell, the Chinese people aren't happy about something, and they're protesting in huge numbers, and they're managing not to set fire to anything.
We'll go back to a mystical time. Handover from Britain to China in '97 basically stipulated that Hong Kong and China, while Hong Kong is technically part of China, it has its own government, it has its own police force, it has its own, it's a separate entity. The only thing I think that China has, I think, direct provision over is like situations like war. Do you know what I mean? Trade agreements that will affect China can also, if they're positive things, can also come into effect with Hong Kong, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But recently, the next election is 2017, and the Chinese government said, oh yeah, everyone will have the right to vote. There'll be one vote for every person in Hong Kong who's over, I think, 18, which is, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
But the only the only candidates that people are going to be allowed to vote for are people who have the unanimous or majority support of a selection committee.
Yeah.
That selection committee is going to be made up of basically pro-Beijing people. Do you know what I mean? So they're not going to pick anyone who's going to go against China or who will try to maintain the separation between the two countries.
Yeah.
Do you get me? So it's basically they're just saying, oh yeah, here's the people you can vote for, but they're basically just our bitch.
The illusion of democracy.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, you can
You
vote.
look in America and being told, okay, you can elect one of these two people for president. You have either Sarah Palin or George Bush.
Yeah.
And you're going to go, fuck. Like, what do you
Exactly,
do?
yeah.
You riot.
That's what it started out as. It started out as that, but then it turned into like, there's also a separate thing called Occupy Central, which is obviously part of the Occupy movement, but they've kind of just joined forces now to just wreck the gaff, but not wreck it. Do you know what I mean? Like they haven't caused any property damage. I mean, there's buses literally parked in the middle of the street because the bus drivers just abandoned them because they couldn't drive. But the buses haven't been damaged, defaced, nothing like that. They've just been left there. I mean, people are sleeping beside them and leaning up against them and stuff like that, but they haven't been damaged. There are no property damage or businesses or anything like that. So it's just been a peaceful protest, but then the tear gas was fired last night. Now, the police are saying that it was fired because the protesters were trying to storm them. But in the footage you see, the protesters are literally just standing there with like umbrellas trying to block the pepper spray, and then they just fired tear gas in.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what's going on. Right now, there's a strike by students. They're not going back to class. There's also a strike by teachers. Kindergartens, primary schools, and secondary schools in that part of Hong Kong were all closed. Teachers all around Hong Kong can go on strike. Kindergarten teachers can't, but I think that's going to change because the people that I work with today were pretty pissed off, and they're all wearing the yellow ribbon. I can see it getting it's just escalating and escalating. I think it's going to turn into like Tiananmen 2.1. I mean, where the protest started is in central Wan Chai, Admiralty. That's all like the financial district. That's like the Wall Street of Hong Kong.
Yeah.
So their goal was to shut that down. No, I don't think they shut it down, but I can see it happening. It's nearly impossible to get there because the trains have literally stopped going to certain stations. Do you know what I mean? And the road, to walk down the road would be a pain in the arse. Do you know what I mean? But it's started to expand outwards now further. So basically, that part of Hong Kong is just like a straight line, if you can imagine it, like a completely straight island, like a ruler.
Okay.
All right, and it started on one end, and it's starting to just make its way down the line, almost down the island. Do you know what I mean? But it's also spread over to this side. It's now in a place called, and this is the best name for a place ever, Mong Kok, or as I call it, Downer Dick. It's spread to there now. So I know someone who lives in that area. They sent me 2 pictures of that area, one last night, one tonight. There's more people there tonight than there was last night. Yeah, so it's starting to get a bit mental. It's weird because it's like, the Tiananmen thing. You see it, you see it. I feel feel like I'm actually I'm not part of it because I haven't gone to the protest. I'm thinking about heading down tomorrow, but like I feel like I'm actually seeing something taking place. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like just a regular protest. It feels like this could be something major. But
A proper fucking game-changing thing, yeah.
I think it could be. Well, China has blocked Instagram now in the mainland. You can't go onto the Instagram in mainland because people are posting photos of the protests with a certain hashtag in Chinese, obviously. So if anyone sees that hashtag, they click on the hashtag, they could see all the photos of the protests. And the last thing China wants is for their people to see protests because they're going to be like, hang on, we could do that.
It's inspirational, yeah.
Something's gonna happen. It's either gonna end in them getting what they want, which is Beijing taking a step back, which I don't see happening, or it's gonna end in a massacre. Either way, I think something's gonna happen. I think internationally there's gonna be some sort of backlash. I mean, because the British have already made a statement about it. They've already come out and said, look, we signed this agreement with blah blah blah, and like, this is what we said was going to happen. This is what we said should happen. So I could see some sort of backlash. Was kind of a weird word to use because I don't think there's going to be an invasion by the British, but I think there's going to be some sort of reaction. Do you know what I mean? I would like to think. Yeah, that's all I just wanted to talk about because it does feel like something important, and I am considering going down to the protest tomorrow. So if I go down, I'll snap a few shots, stick them up on.
Make sure you get a Celtic scarf to wrap around your face.
No, Joe, I'm going to make a sign. I'm definitely going to make a sign that says, down with this sort of thing, careful now. I'm just pray someone takes a photo of me that just goes viral, do you know what I mean? It'd just be brilliant. Could you imagine the middle of protest in Hong Kong, some lad with a fucking careful now sign?
Getting a bag of a bleeding tear gas canister in the face for telling people to be careful now.
Smashed right in the face. Yeah. So thanks for watching this riot-infused episode of Mattie and Liamo, talking about the protests that could change the world. You never know. Like Beyonce, they might end up changing the world for the better. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace up. A-Town down.
What's that all about?
It was in a rap song I was listening to earlier, so I decided to use it. RTE 9 News Ireland, Kangaroo or Wallaby, they're not sure, released onto the dance floor of a hotel in Dublin. That sounds like a class party.
I know exactly what it means, right? They just released it near the dance floor and what have you, and obviously it started to run around. But it implies that the thing was fucking raring to go. Let me at that dance floor, and they just said, "Fuck it, it's too much effort holding him back. Let him do his thing."